Good afternoon, good evening, good day, everyone, and welcome to the Link to Past Randomizer Spoiler Tournament. We are in week 2 of Swiss, and we have YeOldGamer versus RickyofKokiri. How's it going, folks? I am Wolfling030, and joining me in the mic is Professor Renderer. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Now, to give anyone an idea who may have not been tuned into Link to the Past Randomizer, this is, of course, the randomizer we all know and love, but with a twist. Our runners have access to a special spoiler log for this race. And they have already been studying for the last 13 minutes, soon to be 15, as that is our study period for this session. And they're basically reading the log and planning a route through the seed here. This is going to be heavily an execution and routing focus here, not so much so of luck. Now, granted, of course, there is still a little bit luck involved in regards to some of the bosses. Some we can manipulate here because they have set patterns we can follow. The others may not have any patterns at all. We just have to get lucky. A lot of this is the fact that we'll be taking less safeties or finding less safeties because we know where they are and we're not going to pick them up. So there's going to be a lot of things we have to find here. And we're getting down to the last minute or so of the study period, so we're going to get started here very shortly. So, Renderer, what are you excited for these two runners here?
I'm pretty excited for Kokiri because I've seen him a couple times, and I'm very interested to see how YeOld will stack up against Ricky.
Right. Now, I should probably mention here, folks, you can certainly see that right there on the top of your screen between the two names here. This is not a one-win scenario between Ricky going into this. These players have both actually lost their first week match in the Swiss, so it's a 0-1 matchup. RickyofKokiri lost to Amarith, whereas YeOld lost to Poor Collector. So, the winner of this match will go 1-1. The loser of this match will go 0-2. And the 0-2 will be hard-pressed to make it out of Swiss into the playoffs. And we are underway, folks. We're getting a Link's House start, and there are 3 balls right there. And of course, a quick shout out to our tracker, or Dark Diplomat here, who has already done something for you guys, if you have noticed. All our pendants and crystals are already on our tracker right now, as our runners have that information as well, along with the medallion requirements for the Mr. Myron Turtle Rock. And we have vanilla medallions, it looks like, today. And a 10 bomb pack on the Uncle. Good starting bombs. Very good source. As well as the Book of Medora. That'll be very helpful later if that's needed.
That will open up Desert Palace later on down the road.
And as you can see, Desert Palace is a required dungeon, but Misery Mire is not, so probably means the book is our intended access here if we read into both their moves of getting the book, or it could mean something else entirely. We'll have to wait and see. And now both runners are heading into the escape sequence.
I'm interested in how this will play out because they are doing this with a bomb start, and with a bomb start, it's kind of tricky if you're not familiar with how the AI works, and for good reason, because that's a sword.
Having that sword that early is a great combat start as well. Doesn't have to run the bombs. And it looks like Ricky is just going to walk on out. As is YeOld.
Looking like they wanted to go... Oh, go ahead.
And it looks like both our runners are using custom sprites here, as I want to mention. Someone was asking about Ricky's custom sprite here. I believe that is Marissa from the Toho series, and YeOld is using, of course, Batman.
I can confirm that RickyofKokiri's sprite is Marissa.
Yeah. And something is in the back here of the darkness. Ooh, Ricky has to be careful. 1 heart left. Leave 1 bot from the snake, and that is lights out. Ooh. There's 1 more snake in the darkness here somewhere.
Now that should take care of all the enemies on the screen. For
Fire
at least-
rod.
Okay.
So
So
that
by-
fire rod was logically lamp locked.
Yep, exactly what I was going to say there, because that would be a lamp-locked required item, given Version 31's logic.
And it looks like YeOldFartGamer unfortunately did not make it to the Dark Cross room. That is a fairly difficult dark room to navigate without a light source. So it's going to opt out of the fire rod for now, which, as we can see, is required because of Turtle Rock. So Yeold will have to come back to that later.
It appears as if RickyofKokiri wanted to head over towards Agina's cave, while YeOld is going to make their way over towards the lumberjack area, but it looks like they are mostly focused on the prize pack from the bush crab, which is a heart.
Yeah. And there's the magic powder there. Good safety item to have, and it also unlocks a check later on with the magic bat. And that is kind of the name of the game with the spoiler log races here. And actually, something I forgot to mention as well. The normal spoiler log rules the normal randomizer rules do not apply here. In a normal randomizer race, the runners are not allowed to see each other's speeds or watch the restream, because that's sharing information they're supposed to find on their own, and that's part of the charm and the allure of this. However, because it's a spoiler race and they know where everything is, they are allowed to actually tune in and watch the restream and be a part of chat here with us, as well as watch each other's feeds to see how far ahead or behind they are.
Having the knowledge is very important, especially if you're watching the restream, trying to get a clue as to how far behind you may be. As we all say here, knowledge is power.
Yes. If you really want to think about it another way here, this sort of format we have is basically playing 80% no major glitches with the added rules of the randomizer council, as well as we get a bow there, as well as the roadmap to the endgame is completely different each time, like a randomizer should be. Looks like YeOld's timer is gone. It looks like it was not reset. So just to give a brief explanation here, YeOld just basically started his timer 15 minutes early because of the study period, and just didn't reset it for the time period. So we're just gonna turn it off to not confuse you guys.
Ricky going over towards the Ice Rod Cave.
And there's the hammer.
So that now opens up the magic bat.
And taking a pause there for a moment, I think it was checking about the bottle merchant, but can't do it just yet. And you can see YeOld's pausing a little bit here and there, probably double checking the spoiler log to figure out where things are. And that is also something they are allowed to do as a note.
Yeah, they're free to look at the spoiler log after they are done with their 15-minute study periods, in case they want to look back at where maybe money or rupees are, heart containers, any supply refills, or even look at the key logic to figure out what you want to do in those particular dungeons.
Yeah, and it can also be helpful when you have a little bit of a snafu and need to reroute, as it looks like YeOld is going to do right now. Ricky is now entering the well, which I believe we did see the Moon Pearl here, yes. I'm not 100% sure if YeOld got that. Also getting the boomerang. Picking up a fair amount of heart containers soon. There's a glove on the merchant. That is Dark World access for RickyofKokiri, and we're not even... We only just broke the 9-minute mark. It looks like YeOld found some rupees there, can now get the gloves from the merchant. Gonna head over here and get the magic powder as well while he's at it.
Now, given that YeOld had not gotten the money a bit early, when he was going into Kakariko, that could cost him time, as he's going to make his way upward to get the powder from off of Agina's cave.
Let's see what the powder is useful for, because the magic bet's being checked. There we go. There's our boots. And kind of a rude boots placement if you think about it. The magic bet's fine, but the fact that you have to go to the desert and Ice Road Cave to get both the required elements to get the boots early, kind of a long stretch.
Yeah, because those are opposite corners of Hyrule, and you have to pick those up.
And we saw half magic as well from Ricky. I completely missed that too. And there's our lamp, which now puts the fire rod in logic.
And YeOld's going to open up the mini Boldorm cave.
Something I just realized actually, and this is an important point to make. We can go get the Super Bomb before we even enter Dark World.
Yeah, Desert Palace and Tower of Hera are R5-6 crystals. And speaking of Desert Palace, Ricky's gonna head straight over to Desert Palace right now.
Yeah, and there's a shovel on Desert Ledge as well. We'll see if Ricky decides to go pick it up. So just to refresh my own memory as to where it was. Ah, the half magic was in Mini Molten Cave. Okay, I completely overlooked that.
Yep, on the right chest.
Now, YeOld has to be careful here. That crab does 2 hearts of damage without a mail upgrade. Oh, hey, there's a Boots Lock Desert. Who's surprised?
Hey, with those boots in hand, not a big deal. Just go ahead and get those boots off of the torch, and you'd be good to go. It seems like Ricky forgot to get the key from off of the big chest, which was on the torch.
Ricky got the big key because he opened the big chest.
Yeah, that was on the torch.
I think Ricky is doing a full clear of the dungeon here. Probably noted that there's good stuff in the dungeon, just went for everything. Oh, that'd be why. That's ether. Wait, no, that's ether. That's not good.
Yeah, because ether is required for Misery Mire.
Randomizer in turn is a pendant rather. I almost a medallion. What's wrong with me?
I mean, you need a medallion to even open up the pendant mire.
So yeah, one can lead into the fact that it might be Mr. Mire has something, or Pet is something, or the third option, which is also just as viable. Ricky just noted an important item there and went to go get it, period, regardless of it being required or not. Because the thing with Ether is it's good at killing the Stalfos in the ascent up Ganon's tower. It will instant kill them without having any sort of extra burning animation that the Fire Rod has.
And Yeold does pick up the gloves from off of the bottle vendor.
We'll be getting his lamp as well. Which is good because that'll let him go back through the darkness of Dark Frost to go get his Fire Rod.
Ricky now enters the Lanmo fight. This will be for the first crystal.
Not quite getting the flash shot off there, but quick enough recovery. Gets hit by a rock though. And the Master Sword is the reward. Okay, that's what Ricky was full clearing for. That makes a lot more sense.
And with that, that is the first crystal for RickyofKokiri.
And Ricky is not save warping. So something must be nearby that Ricky wants to go get. Near the top of there is YeOld. Also now heading over to Desert. Oh, we did see the shovel pick up here, and what is underneath the shovel? Oh, well, there's our Hera access. I forgot about that, actually. But now we can go the long way to get to Tower Hera.
And with that, it's also Death Mountain access.
I'm sorry, what was that, book reading sprite on Batman there?
I have zero clue.
I've never seen that before.
All I saw was Rip, and that was it.
Oh, they go for this backstory reference. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. I would never have thought of them to do that.
Shoutouts to the sprite creators for adding that in.
Yeah, that is a very nice detail. I like that. I like that a lot. Anyway, Ricky is now on the mountain with the old man in hand. Dead Rock's not being a problem. Gets out another heart container. Up to 8. That is a nice, good early game health total there. Setting up for spin speed. Did not quite get it. Unfortunately, the Dead Rock's now on the way.
Ricky opting to wait that out.
Yeah.
You can also despawn the dead rocks by going off the screen enough so that they can respawn and without their dead rock state.
So it looks like something is in Paradox Cave that Ricky wants to go pick up. Choosing to take the detour here. Shield, but more importantly, I think, was the arrows here.
It makes sense to pick them up because, like I mentioned before, resources, knowing where where any resources are is great to know because, ooh.
Yo, taking a shot by the Beamos. Down he goes, back to start. And there's the magic boomerang as well. Yeah, those Beamos can get you quite easily if you're not ready for them.
And Ricky gun to go head over towards Hera.
Can he opt to get the ether tablet if he so chooses? Does not need it, apparently. And here's the boss key. Now, there must be something in the big chest then, I would say. Wouldn't you? Because it's either that or Ricky does not know Harapot, which... Based on... Nope, does not know Harapot, okay.
Interesting decision from Ricky. That Hera pod can save a lot of time climbing up Tower of Hera.
Yeah. The only other reason that Ricky would have picked up the big heat, though, is to get the big chest. And to explain what Harapot is for those who may not be aware of it, there's the Canis Samaria, okay. And meanwhile, does defeat the Lammolas, gets the Master Sword. But yeah, to explain what Harapot is, basically what happens is you clip into the pot in the first floor. It is allowed under the league rules, and you'd essentially be on that little diamond-shaped tile right there. Because you'd fall into the fairy fountain and get warped up to this next to the top floor. But here we go, the Molder fight. 3 hammer bonks, and that is GG right there. We even skipped the Moldarm's enrage phase doing this. Very nicely done. We may have the chauffeur, but that is the other 5-6 crystal for Ricky. armor there for Ricky as well. Gonna pick that up as a nice safety. That will cut the damage incoming to by half. Which will make Ganon do, I think Ganon's content damage will still kill Ricky at this stage, if not put him at 1 heart. But for all the remaining dungeons coming up, that should be a good, nice health total if Ricky manages it properly. And now we're entering the Dark World. And right off the bat, we can do a fair amount of dungeons here, but it looks like we're going to start going north here. So we are getting the Super Bomb. This is something you don't normally see. A 24-minute Super Bomb. There has to be something good here. Alright, Yield is attempting the super speed and gets it. Is climbing the mountain.
Interesting decision. Typically the way you want to take this if you're going from the top to from over towards the Hera side is you would have to get the hook shot and hook shot over. And if you're going to go up the mountain like this.
Oh, hold on a moment. Can we talk about that Pyramid Fairy game and how loaded it was? That was tiny
yeah.
bits and flippers.
That is big. That opens up quite a bit. We also found a bottle with a blue potion in it.
Blue potion in it. That is like the ultimate safety. What is this pyramid? Jeez. Yeah, the idea is to go to ice. That's what Ricky is looking like he's doing. There's another bottle with blue potion in it?
And that was locked by the mirror as well.
Yeah, which we haven't found yet, and... well, we're gonna go see Zora, it looks like. We don't have any money for Zora.
Might be looking for the Waterfall of Wishing. May have found something that caught Ricky's eye.
Oh, heart pieces here. And that is something the runners might micromanage if they have enough time to do so, is manage their heart piece count so that they get a timely 4th piece to get a full heal when they need it. And there's something here in the Zora's domain, and judging on the rupee count, it's not on King Zora. There it is, that's the mirror! So that whole debacle with the hookshot on Death Mountain was 100% required to be done. You needed the hookshot to get to Hera. There was no way around it.
Yeah, that is kind of mean.
Isn't that mean, because it was kind of on the way after doing Desert first. So really, because we have the spoiler log, this was actually a really great route that Ricky has landed on. We'll have to wait and see what the rest of the route has in store, obviously. But yeah, if this was a regular seed, this would have been hot garbage. Let's be completely honest here.
Yeah, it's a great thing that the spoiler log does exist.
Indeed. Now, one thing that's nice about the spoiler log here, and I'm going to go ahead and mention this, is that it also tells us what the poultries have, what the... if you turn a fish into the merchant, or where the source of bombs would be otherwise. It even tells you what the stun price is, and in this case today, our stun price is actually a single bomb.
Which could explain the reason why both runners opted to get both boomerangs. just for the fact that if they are running low on bombs, they can always stun some enemies and refill some bombs.
Yes, another reason they could have picked up both from rings is simply for the sake of menuing, and there's our flute. So that whole movement through the overworld to get our boots was also required for us to walk both ways, since you couldn't take the flute shortcuts. Well, actually, no, you could have at least taken the walk over to... Oh, there's Tempered Sword now as well. Jeez.
So, I'm pretty sure Ricky won't bother to get the now gold sword on the ledge or the island.
The island had the bottle. We haven't not
Oh,
seen the gold
right.
sword yet.
Right, I completely forgot about that.
It's fine. But yeah, actually, given how many bosses we have left, it might actually be a good idea to pick it up, especially if it's nearby. Because I'm thinking about this here, we still have the bosses like the like Helmet Sword King. We have Cold Stare. We have Trinex, which is the biggest time save for the Gold Sword. And we also have Ganon, which, if we don't find the other bow, which we're not guaranteed to find here, given the spoiler log, we might have to do Silverless strats, that Gold Sword is a guaranteed one cycle on the first two phases, pretty much. Only 6 hits per phase.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the Tempered Sword's 12.
Yeah, Spin still do the same amount of damage, regardless of level 3 or level 4 sword for, in this game, rather. But I'm tripping over my own words.
Yield does grab the King of Samaria, but opts to fall off.
Probably doesn't know about the bonk jump. And if you're not if you're sort of a newer runner, that is something that is kind of an awkward mechanic that you don't really think about, but it is considered in the logic in some places. And just to explain what a bonk jump is for those who may not know, it's simply the art of using the boot's bonking animation to jump over pits. It's actually sort of pseudo-taught to you in Ganon's Tower right at the end of the game, in which there is a cracked wall up against a pit, but you can't exactly get to it. Except through doing a boots bonk.
And yeah, a bomb jump like Hera is only it's mostly like one of the few boots bonk bomb jumps that you can do, and the bomb jump is very much essential for this kind of game. Certain things you can do it like are in the Paradox Cave top entrance. You can do it on the Spectacle Rock, and also you mentioned before the Ganon's Tower one.
Yeah. RickyofKokiri having a very tricky blind fight there, almost got knocked out. Did have the blue potion reserve. Well fought all the same. And that is a scary fight to come back to if you need to refight him. So good on Ricky for not dying there.
Yeah, because that fight is scripted, and if you die, you lose that script, and you gotta do this fight in a very different fashion.
Yeah. And the flute is coming online for Ricky here, which does give him fast travel.
And with that, Ricky does also have access to the mire area.
It is going to check the sick kit here as well. Well. Yeah. Gold sword, suddenly. Those ones were really nice to see. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's they weren't too out of the way, and with that, now Ricky has a lot better of a time going through this game.
He is opening up Mystery Mire. Interesting play. There's only 2 items in Mire, so one of them has to be one of our 2 remaining items for Go Mode, now that I look at it.
Yeah, and that is going to be the Ice Rod and Quake.
Well, or Quake. We don't know if both are in here. We don't know if either's in here, honestly. But given the fact that this is a spoiler, we can pretty much safely say that one of them is in here. We're not going to say where, though.
And Yield picks up his mother load from the pyramid.
I think Yield is going to opt to move over to do Palace of Darkness while he's in the area. That's not a bad idea. Or not. Heading over to check Stumpy, maybe? Yeah, this looks to be Stumpy. And on Stumpy, the other male upgrade. Oh geez, wait, I just realized. Does Yield have the Ether Medallion from Desert?
I would have to look at his menu.
Yeah, I gotta look at his menu too.
Ricky gets the big key from off of the cutscene chest.
Fire shield for Yield as well.
Seems like Yield wanted to pick up the safeties just in case for this Thieves Town play, and it's a good idea, personally, because that would it helps against the fireballs that Blind shoots out.
Yeah, all the fireballs Blind shoots are blockable with the fire shield at the very least, and the red mail will further lower the damage so that there's the fight. There's the Ice Rod though, which means Ether is required.
And given the way that this dungeon was laid out, and the fact that you had to go to Mire, all the way over to Mire to get that Ice Rod, ugh.
Okay, so it's not that bad for Yield right now, I just realized. Because he'll have most likely go get the mirror before he heads back to Mire. And then he can mirror, go into Desert, get the Ether, mirror out, and then return to Mire and use the medallion. So it's not that bad of a location for the medallion. It's just a little bit of extra work he has to do once he gets access to Mire.
And Ricky wanted to go for the Swamp Palace.
I mean, one pendant doesn't have progression, why not another one? And there's that timely fourth heart piece to get that heal.
Good insight on Ricky to pick that up when he's going over to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, planning out the piece of heart is something you don't normally do initially, but once if you have some extra time, it can be worthwhile to set up a heart piece route to get those refills, like I mentioned earlier.
Eel does have to be careful though. He is on 1 heart. Oh!
Alright. But Heel did open the spotlight, which means he does not have to redo that. So, a little bit of a rough that he has to go back all the way to the back of the dungeon still, but at least he doesn't have to go back all the way back up to the 2nd floor. He just has to get back to that room, flip the switch, and then continue onward. But these deaths, they are starting to add up here and give Ricky a much bigger lead here.
And with that spike death from YeOld, those spikes will do 1 heart of damage no matter what mail that you have. Whether it be green mail, blue mail, red mail. If you get hit by one of those spikes, that is still 1 heart of damage flat.
Yeah. And there's the cave. Nice safety item to have for Ricky.
It'll prove to be pretty handy when you come over to the Ganon fight.
Is flooding the key.
I know what he's going to do. He's going to do the diver down.
Oh yeah, he's gonna definitely do diver down. I think Ricky is also setting up a variation of diver down.
Yeah, this is going to be the the second water switch version of the diver down, which to kind of explain it, Swamp Palace's water layering is kind of weird.
Oh wait, no, he may not need to do diver down. I just realized if he's only after left side swamp, he's not gonna come back.
Huh. Interesting.
Because if we're in go mode after getting anything, whatever's, if Quake's over here in left side swamp, we're in go mode. We don't have to do swamp.
Yeah. If you want, Wolf, you can finish the thought I was gonna make about diver down.
Yeah, if he did diver down, he would be able to get the key that he flooded. There's Quake though, so it doesn't really matter. It's go mode. At 40 minutes and change. What I thought he was going to do was a variant in which you set a bomb in that room, and then you leave the room so it doesn't detonate. And that way, when you return to the room from the south after doing diver down, the bomb explodes, flipping the switch for you. But regardless, diver down did not need to be done in Swamp today.
Yeah, and the way it kind of works is, like I was going to say, that Swamp House's layers are... the way that they're set up is that you can not only walk on them if it's not flooded, but you can also swim on it when it is flooded. And for some reason that I can't really remember off the top of my head, you can pass it along to finish on that one because I don't honestly remember.
I don't remember either, but I was looking at that fight from YeOld. He drank his blue potion, and that was a timely heal there because he took an extra hit, and that would have been in game over on the blind fight. Very rough fight there for him, but gets it done.
Ricky is on the way over to Pod.
Oh, that is another one of our crystal dungeons. The route here seems pretty set in stone. It's Pod Eastern Ice, then Go Mode Ice, then Turtle Rock.
And given the layouts of this route for Ricky, I will not be surprised if Ricky opts to do the icebreaker clip.
Yeah, I would assume so too, if Ricky even knows it. I'm not gonna throw words. I'm not gonna assume that he does. In part because I actually don't remember. Dude is coming online now for YeOld. We'll see if he heads over to Misery Mire to go get his ice rod, but he does need to get the Ether Medallion first, which is in Desert. So, at least have that. Probably gonna have to go get the mirror first. Yep. Force him to take the walking route there. I do love whenever you get to see that from runners, when they just bonk there and they just essentially jump it, do an air jump.
I've never seen that happen, and that's honestly the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Well, it's because this is the cliffside, if we see it right there. So you normally jump down from that ledge. But because of the way it's set up, you just jump over the ledge instead.
That still looks pretty swag.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think it's gonna say that Yield is one of our newer runners here in the randomizer, given that chose to come over this way via the flute to 2 instead of the flute to 8 and taking the portal, which I think is a little bit faster. It's these kind of sort of like minor things that add a little bit of time that you learn as you play. I admire the fact that Yield stepped up to try his hand at a tournament, and I hope he does okay here.
Yeah, and not a lot of people don't have like the confidence to join the tournaments, like most tournaments. But something like this tournament where it's, if you know how to play, where everything is, and see if you can do the best you can. I still applaud him for at least stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, better than me. I don't even race. I just like playing this game casually and talking about it.
And I'm a sort of a new racer, but still got a lot to learn. But I also enjoy talk about this game.
You're now heading back into Thieves Town. That is an amazing buddy right there for the Batman sprite. It's just Bruce Wayne.
It kind of looks like the Phoenix Wright sprite from a distance, but it's actually just, Bruce.
I thought that for a minute too, and then I realized his secret identity. All right, here we go with the Helmosaur King fight. 17 bonks with the hammer to break the mask, and then 2 sword slashes will say goodnight to the Helmosaur King. That is how potent the gold sword is.
And this is why we wait till the very end to get it in the vanilla game.
Now, I want to point out that it took 3 hits there. I believe Ricky actually got a poke in on Helmosaur King, which the poke does tempered sword damage, which means he would have not hit that threshold of quite doing a 2-hit on Helmosaur King. But gets it done. That is crystal number 4.
And Yield is heading back over to the Dark Cross.
Yep. This is the point where I believe Yield is going to be starting to pick up the pieces he's left behind to get into go mode. So right now, the last piece of the puzzle he needs to clean up is getting Ether so that he can get his Ice Rod out of Mystery Mire. which is on the way to Meyer, so not much of a priority there. Probably gonna go get Quake first. Ricky is heading his way over to the Armos Knights. Now, the Armos Knights are a tricky boss to fight without a bow, but we're gonna need a bow to fight him anyway, so it's a moot point.
But it is doable with a sword. It just takes quite a while to get them down.
Yeah, I think even with Gold Sword, the bow will still deal more damage. Like, each section of Armos Knights takes only 3 shots to kill with the bow. And we're gonna hopefully see a quick kill on the Armos Knights, in which, to explain it briefly, Armos Knights can't, in the last phase, when one is alive rather, gets enraged and heals, so that you have to waste a couple more shots. If we get the quick kill here, which I don't think Ricky is gonna do, it looks like Ricky is gonna opt for just killing them normally.
He might be actually.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's almost set up.
Yeah, I think Ricky missed the mark there. But basically, there are a couple of setups in which you can quick kill the Armos Knights, in which you kill the last two, one right after the other, so that there's no red Armos Knight. You most commonly see it if you see someone setting up between the top center and the right, and the top right one.
Yeah, but that one.
Tonight.
And that one, that one being is you fire 5 shots into those 2 Armos, go over towards the top left, like near the top left, then start firing down, while keeping a good lineup between them, and that way, as the Armos Knight starts to come around, you can get a clean shot on the remaining 2 Armos Knights without having to get the last Armos Knight enraged and having to heal it up.
Yeah, and distance is a little bit important, so you'll commonly see runners gradually moving down the room as they fire to minimize how much time between bow and landing the shot, because you can only have one arrow on screen at a time, and if the arrow flies for too long, the Armos Knights might still get into the red phase despite going for the quick kill.
Ricky opting to go for the hook shot on these pen gears. These go down in 1 hit.
Yeah, pen gators die 1 hit to the bombs, the hook shot, and I think also, well, I think Gold Sword actually does 2 strikes actually.
Gold Sword does it as an insta kill along with a tempered sword spin.
But here we go, folks, the icebreaker technique. So this is fairly new-ish, but you're gonna see Ricky push this block. Doesn't quite have it, it looks like.
Now he can recover this if he's able to push the block in such a way that that will let him get through.
There we go. And that is icebreaker, folks. Just skipping the entire dungeon, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a fairly powerful trick if you in the randomizer.
And just to be 100% clear for those who may be thinking that's NMG and saying that's not a allowed trick, Randomizer has its own racing council, and they have deemed that trick legal in Randomizer races, amongst other tricks that we also allow only for Randomizer.
And the way that the icebreaker clip works is that there's a function in the game that lets you as you're going through a door, the door will keep pushing you in such a way that I'm gonna get this like completely wrong. But the way it kind of works is that as you're going through the door, there is a function that if you push in a direction that's not the door that's you're facing, it will push you through the door no matter what. And knowing this, if you have something blocking the door in that particular room, you essentially extend the door the way that the door is this little state past where you would normally be, and you end up on the right side. I might be completely wrong with this, and I entirely apologize, but that's like the general idea of it.
Basically, this game is well programmed. That's probably the most simplest explanation I can give.
And for context of this randomizer is played on the Japanese version 1.0 of A Link to the Past, not the English version 1.1 game, where it has some of these bugs fixed for this for us North American and localized people.
Now, one of the bugs we should probably talk about is we're just going to go over this briefly because we have YeOld in Swamp House. One of the staircases in Swamp actually is a little broken, and then it'll shove you right back down the stairs the first time you try to use them. In 1.1 that is fixed, but unfortunately that is a necessity we have to live with in Randomizer. But likewise, in Randomizer, we also get access to one of our most common tricks, which is spin speed and hookshot speed on inclines and stairs. Like the ones you commonly see here on Death Mountain. Like that. That is a 1.0 only trick. Anyway, folks, we are heading up to Turtle Rock now to get the last crystal here. YeOld is back in the Maya region, does realize that he needs to go get the Ether Medallion, is going to go pick it up.
So with that, Ricky opens up Turtle Rock. This will be the final dungeon for Ricky to complete.
And this is the last dungeon. So we just have to get down to the boss and win the fight. But really, even with spoiler logs, all that you're going to save time for is maybe checking where the keys are in Turtle Rock, and even then the key layout may not be in a way that you can skip anything even then. Except for maybe opening one chest, which is like maybe a second of animation. There's the Ether Medallion for YeOld. We'll be entering Meyer shortly.
Yeah, Turtle Rock in and of itself is quite a slow dungeon no matter how you slice it. Whether it be in the vanilla game, whether it be playing normal rando, or even in the spoiler log, whether you're in go mode or not in go mode, this is a very slow dungeon to go through.
Well, it depends on the mode. It's actually a fairly fast dungeon when you have entrance shovel or inverted in play, because you can just backdoor this dungeon at the cost of not being able to backdoor desert. For in the case of inverted, at the very least. And when you have entrance involved, then you can probably find the entrance straight to Laser Bridge and just skip the entire dungeon. But yeah, in the way we play it, it's definitely one of the longer, more linear dungeons that we have to go through. Oh, a bite from the chain chomp. That took a lot of health off of Ricky.
Yeah, those chain chomps do deal quite a bit of damage if you're not careful. That's why you'll see these runners opt to do some strategies to prevent themselves from not getting hit by those chain chomps.
To give an idea how much damage they do, they are the highest normal enemy, well, I guess, quote-unquote normal enemy, in the game to deal that amount of damage. The only thing that does more damage than them is the Ganon in Hug. So, if that took off that much health from Ricky, imagine how much health I would think Ricky would probably be at 1.5 hearts from Ganon. Under the same conditions. So yeah, very dangerous enemy. Opting to use the powder to get some health back. Very smart. Yeold's taking a lot of damage to the spikes and dies!
Oh,
That is an early death in Mire though, so it's not that painful. But again, those deaths do add up.
Yeah, and if you get into the mind of YeOld, it might be possible that he could be experiencing some tilt. So what you gotta do is just relax, get yourself back in, get back into the right mindset, and keep going.
Yeah, tilt is a factor in the randomizer sometimes, and it's best to just mentally recollect yourself, focus, and just relax. Because if you start getting frustrated, you're bound to make more mistakes, which just makes you more frustrated, and it's really just a downward spiral from there. You really got to keep your mentality on the positive end of things.
So I like what Ricky did. He took a key, and he has that key in hand because he will opt to skip the laser bridge with that one key in hand.
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, we should probably mention this. This will be the 7th crystal here. So, we don't have much time for a guessing game here. And YeOld is staring at that big key chest. He knows he needs to collect it.
Alright, Ricky on to the try next fight. Gonna do this the normal way and not the backdoor strats with the boots.
So you have to be careful here. The head will deal with about 3 hearts of damage to him if he gets hit by it again. Right, and there we go, folks. Now, folks, this is the 7th crystal. You know we have a game we like to play, but there's a twist on it that I'm going to say here. And I'm going to start explaining it as soon as that crystal hands. There's our Balmos medallion. But folks, that is the 7th crystal of the match. We have access to Ganon's Tower, and we have a game we like to play. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, but the runners know which chest has the Ganon's Tower big key. So instead of a number, folks, for the spoiler log tournament, give me the specific chest that you think the Ganon's Tower big key is in. Not a number, the specific chest.
Or you could just also do the location. like the specific room, not the actual chest, but like the specific room. And I'm gonna say, the last one I did was in random room, so I'm gonna actually I'm not really gonna spoil it because we know that too, and
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm abstaining from this one.
Yeah, I'm abstaining for this one too because I already know. We got some good guesses here. We got random room left, the fire bar room, tile room, Stalfos room bottom left. Interesting. Random room top right. Behind it, the ice armos. There's a lot of good guesses here. Let's see which one of you guys are right. Well, it's not Torch.
Ricky's gonna go left though. So it's not where tile room is, nor is it the compass room.
Now shut out. And not going to Stalfo's room. Looks like he's entering Firebar room. Also known as the map chest. And there is the big key, folks. Tell me you got that right on the nose. Good job.
Ricky opting to keep going though.
Yeah,
Probably
there's
want to get keys.
Yeah, there's a pot in this room coming up for Ricky that has a small key in it if he so chooses to get it, and then he's probably gonna mirror out. Or might continue onward. He's opting to continue, folks. We'll see how far Ricky can go. Another small key. Yeah, it looks like Ricky is opting to go pick up the silver arrows. Because that's the only thing in here that could be even worthwhile. And it's not a random room, so likely it's in the center. If it was on right side, he would have mirrored. Bob, how's it going?
Hi, Bob.
You're gonna move over there, Bob, okay? There, thank you. There's the silver arrows, folks. That is and that is Ricky ascending the tower 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 45 seconds. But wait, he's not going up yet.
He's gonna grab that key that he had used prior, so that way he can have enough keys to go up the entirety of GT.
That is go mode now for YeOldFartGamer. No, heading over to Stalfo's room probably doesn't have a small key up top. And it's just gonna go grab a small key here. There it is. 2 small keys, in fact, so it doesn't even have to find the Helmosaurs up top. Good routing. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think anyone would go for those silver arrows. Looking at the spoiler log. I thought they would just go get the big key and rush straight up and do Silverless Ganon. To which, having the Gold Sword makes Silverless Ganon not that bad?
Yeah, and typically with the Gold Sword Ganon fight, it's just one cycle, just a 1-1 cycle, and that's it. It's a very quick first 2 phases, and the rest are just pretty much standard Silverless.
So Yield is opting to go to Turtle Rock first instead of Pod, Eastern, and Ice Palace. So this will mean another mountain climb, which is about another minute and a half later on. attempting to do a clip with the blocks. Unfortunately, did not do it quite right. You need to push the left block first, and this is the room I was talking about earlier with the blocks. This is basically the soft tutorial, like, hey, you could have done this whole time, by the way. And you're rewarded with a couple fairies and a full magic in the lowest pot there, but doesn't need to get it.
It always has to have those sword beams as you come up with this gauntlet fight.
Now, one reason I can see that Yield is going up here to do Turtle Rock first over doing Ice Palace is to get Bombos for Cold Stare to be more magic efficient during the fight. But with a half magic, you're already being super efficient. And there's another blue potion right outside, so...
Yeah, because the Fire Rod with half magic only has 16 shots compared to the 8 shots that normally would drain an entire magic meter if you were to use the Fire Rod strats on the Cold Stare shell.
Yeah. And with the blue potion in hand, with another one right outside, it's not too much of a stretch to do it, the fight with the Fire Rod in this instance. But it looks like Yield might not be too comfortable doing it Fire Rod only and wants the Bombos Medallion, which is fine enough, I suppose. Ricky doesn't quite get all 4 Stalfos in this room, does have to do a cleanup. But it's a very common cleanup that you have to do, is get that top right one. And the worst is over for Ricky at this point.
Ricky needs to be a bit careful here, but try not to despawn this GT. Okay, makes it through there.
Yeah. For those wondering what that is, in case anyone's wondering, it's a very rare thing, but if you climb the stairs as the torches in the previous room go out, this entire upper floor just despawns you at the reset Ganon's Tower entirely. I've never seen it happen once, and most runners, if they're worried about it, err on the side of caution and wait for the torches to go out before climbing the stairs.
Yeah, and with this in mind too, the fact that you despawn, when we mean despawn the entirety of Ganon's Tower, this also includes Moldorm 2 here, and that if you know how to hover, and thinking you're safe from that, not really, because Aga 2 is also despawned. So...
Yeah, so you can't finish... In that state, you could theoretically skip all the way to Aghanim, but there's no reason to, because Aghanim's not even there. It'd be neat if we could find a way to figure out how to respawn Aghanim without having to leave the tower. But I don't think anyone's made any headway on that. Anyway, the Aga 2 fight is pretty straightforward. Just reflect 6 of the orange shots back at the real one. The Two-Face will always shoot them, whereas Aghanim himself will sometimes shoot a non-reflectable blue shot.
While we were focusing... Go ahead.
The patterns on this fight is also pretty terrible. Beal will have the same pattern as a note. This is a fairness factor built into it in which the first instance of Aghanim 1, Aghanim 2, and Ganon is seeded so that they have the same teleport patterns. Because otherwise it'd be completely random and a major luck factor in the randomizer. If they so happen to die or lose the fight, they lose that first instance though, and then they are at the mercy of the RNG at that point.
Yeah, and while we were watching Ricky fight Aga 2, I did see a death over on Yield on Yield's side, and trying to deal with those.
Yeah. Ricky was about to go to Aga 1.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, or maybe he may be thinking of something else.
Oh.
Where
he
is
doing?
he going?
This is... Oh,
He's got
you know
time.
what?
Hmm?
Oh, he's going to Stumpy. I think. He wants to have red mail for the Ganon fight. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Or... or he's bringing the Smith into the Ganon fight. That's also a possibility.
That's. I mean, he mirror bugs here, but that I love your I love your thinking, Ricky.
Oh, I forgot you could do that, honestly.
I am very curious. Though. I'm very interested in what's gonna happen here. I have never seen this happen.
Ricky's gonna go in with a party of 2 to go fight Ganon. He wanted the frog for moral support or something, I don't know. Oh man, I have not seen this in a while.
He has time, so might as well make the most of it. And for added measure, that fairy that you can bunk on the tree.
Yeah, this being very... Okay, he ended up getting it anyway. It is now time to fight the pig. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are basically the same. And that's the wrong script, Ganon. That is not Zelda 3. Anyway, 6 slashes here to start things off with the Trident phase, after which we'll enter the Fire Spin phase. Give the cave out for this to play it safe. Another 6 slashes, and that will set Ganon up to advance to Phase 3, which is his Ground Stomp and Fire Spin phase. There's the Fire Spin, there's the Ground Stomp. These fire bits at this point are a little tricky to explain, but they don't necessarily... Well, they do have knockback, but the thing is with the knockback, it looks at your controls to determine how much knockback you're going to receive. So if you don't move, you actually don't have any knockback. Or if you move to the right, you're going to have knockback to the left. It's kind of strange.
Misses a cycle, but that's okay. So that's one shot into Ganon.
Yep, we are on phase 4 now. Slash him in the stump with the sword. 4 arrows to win the fight. Phase 3 ended after the 4th hit, in which Ganon will tell you where the silver arrows are, actually, if you didn't pick them up. And that is all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GG in the chat for RickyofKokiri with the frog, with the gold sword. And that is going to be time for RickyofKokiri, who has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, 35 seconds. I do want to mention, though, that that time does include the 15 minutes long study period, so his actual time was 1 hour 17 minutes and 35 seconds. GG, and we are now joined by RickyofKokiri, and not too long afterwards, I will also add this. YeOldGamer has decided to forfeit. Very strong run from both of them. All the same. And we are now joined by both. Very strong running from both of them. GG's to both of you. Kind of a nasty seed, though, let's be honest here.
Yes, that was a very nasty scene. I'm going down the spoiler log and I'm saying, wait, that's there? And oh, I need boots. Where's the boots? Magic bat? Oh, come on. Like, just piece by piece by piece. Like, oh, come on.
And to be honest, not relating to this at all, I was half expecting something in the game to say, "Oh, hi, you have the frog now." If you dropped again, and why do you have a frog with you?
Right. Yeah. I had time, so I went ahead and grabbed him. I know Mr. Scruff Ninja Tutor already got the Cynic bonus thing, but I wanted to do it just for funsies. Agatu, I hate Agatu. I can never get that thing right. What? Just, anyway.
Yeah, Agatu's always been kind of a tricky thing. And YeOldGamer, thank you also for joining us here. You've had a bit of a rough time here, quite a few deaths, but I hope you had fun with this and all the same.
Oh yeah, it was a really fun scene. I mean, just I made some routing decisions that were kind of questionable, and yeah, it got away from me.
Yeah, I did mention that I did see a few trip ups here and there with not getting the fire rod, which I believe you died in the escape sequence, not getting the ether medallion in desert, but both of those really didn't lose you that much time. I think maybe the most time loss you had was the fire rod, because with the mire you could just mirror it, went in, got it. Other than that, just a little bit more refinement, I think. I think you are one of the I want to say you're one of the newer runners.
Yeah, I'm also in the Metro tournament as well. So
yeah, it's definitely. So yeah, this is definitely something that, after some practice, you'll definitely get a little bit more refined, a little bit faster with. But you did fairly well, all things considering.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not unhappy with how it went. I mean, like I said, there were a couple things that I would probably clean up. Like I looked at the log. I was having a heck of a time remembering I remember what it was. There was one item that I was like, where is that? Oh yeah, flute spot. I'm like, what is flute spot? Oh yeah, you need the shovel. And I'm like, oh, and I forgot to put that in. Like there were some things like I completely forgot about, because I'm like thinking, do I need this? Do I need that? And I'm like, and then when I got to Mire, and I had to actually pause and look for a map, because I'm like, how do I get to that big key? Because I'm thinking, where the hell is that? How do I get there?
He is kind of an interesting spot. That most people do. It's also known as the cutscene chest, so.
Yeah. But anyway, GG, Ricky, you did a great job.
Thank you. GG's to you too.
So both of you have now had your scores changed, of course. Yield, you're now down to 0-2 here in the Swiss rounds. Still, I think, have a shot. I'm not 100% sure how the Swiss scoring goes here for the spoiler tournament.
If I do, I do. I'm just here to have fun and learn a lot, get a lot better at the game, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
That is a great mentality to have, yeah. That is an ideal mentality. I will always respect someone having that mentality. And Ricky, you're gonna go 1-1 here.
Yes,
you're definitely
I am,
not out of it.
I know. I'm just happy I got a win. I mean, I go into these things expecting not to win at all. I'm a YeOldGamer. I'm here to have fun and get better. And so it's always nice to actually pull off a score.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say this season's gonna be burned by the both of you when you're done. Because those item places were not that great. You had to go walk over to Agina and walk over to Ice Lord Cave just to get your boots.
Yep. As far apart as possible. Then it was cutscene chest and pendant mire. Left side swamp and pendant swamp. Yeah.
Not to mention, required long way around to Hera.
Yes.
Because you had to get the 5-6 to get the flippers to get the mirror.
Yep.
Ugh.
It was a seed.
Yep, it was a
indeed
seed.
Yeah, I messed up a bit in the GT though, because I figured, oh, I'll just bonk my way across, grab the big key, get the silvers, then head up. And when I got to the big key, I realized, wait, why aren't there any keys in the rando room? So I had to reroute myself to go back to the Stalfos room, but it didn't cost me much.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm surprised you actually went for the silver arrows.
Oh, okay, I technically didn't need to, but I had the time, and I whenever I take a risk of not getting a safety that's pretty close by, I pay for it badly. And so that was one that I probably did not need to get, but it just made me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that makes some sense. It was only maybe 2 minutes to save yourself another potentially 2 minutes if you somehow messed up the silverless fight.
Right.
I can see that. Yeah.
And even with the silvers, I almost went down the hole anyway.
Yeah, that can be tricky with the recoil and the knockback. But GG's to both of you once again. Folks, make sure to follow these two runners here. They put on an excellent race for us today. And of course, make sure to follow SpeedGaming 236 so you don't miss any racing action, not just the spoiler log tournament here for Link to the Past Randomizer. Also, make sure to follow my co-commentator, Professor Renderer, and of course our tracker, Dark the Man as well. And you can drop me a follow as well. I have been WolfLink0370. And before we go, we should probably mention the schedule for the upcoming races here. I almost forgot to that. Coming up on SpeedGaming 6, we will have Verts 505 versus OSC 28. That is a 1-0 match. And that's it, actually, for us for the spoiler tournament. Week 3 will be starting up tomorrow, actually.
Isn't there one more match after, midnight?
Oh yeah, there is the midnight match. Yeah, technically. We do have Julo Ninja versus Adster on SpeedGaming here.
Yes.
And actually, funny you should remember that, Ricky, because you're on the commentary team for that.
Yes, that's why I remembered that.
Don't want to miss that.
Monday, I'm like, okay, I can not talk about that. But you caught me there. But yeah, folks, for all of us here at the Link to the Past Randomizer Spoiler Tournament, I've been WolfLink0370. We'll see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.
Take it easy.
Bye.